Howdy y'all, I'm Sohan. Thanks for joining us today. We are going to learn how to wake up the teaware. This is your whole equipage, your whole tea set, getting it warm and wet and ready to make tea. There are three agents that are getting awakened when we make tea. The first is the water, which is awakened by boiling. The second is the teaware, which gets awakened by warming. And the third is the tea itself, which gets awakened by rinsing. We're focusing on that second step. Essentially, when we warm up the teaware, we're going to be pouring our freshly boiled water into the vessels in the same order that we would be as though we were actually making tea. And for this reason, I sometimes refer to this process as making ghost tea. We're just going to do everything we would normally do to make tea, except we're not going to use any tea leaves. We're just getting everything warm. So, starting off, we're going to heat up our primary vessel. In this case, it's a Guan. When we make tea, we lift the lid of our Guan and pour into it. One minor difference, when I warm up my vessels, I like to pour water over the top of the Guan in order to warm up the lid at the same time. So I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate that here. You get that cool little bubbling, rattling action, which I enjoy immensely. So this guy is now warm and full of hot water. So I'm going to go ahead, just as though I were making tea, I'm going to decant my primary vessel, my Guan, into my secondary vessel, my Gong. There we go. And until we have field of vision, you're just going to take my word for it. This whole clay vessel is quite warm now, and it's going to hold that heat for the duration of the time it's going to take me to get everything else ready. So we've got our hot water now and our Gong, and now I'm going to get my cups into position to warm them up and rinse them. And the purpose of this is that we don't want our freshly boiled hot water to enter the cold clay or the cold glass and then lose a few degrees right off the bat. We want everything to be ready to rock the right temperature. Just like when you're cooking, you heat the pan before you put the food in. When you're making pasta, you boil the water and get it going first. You don't just put it in the water that's cold. So essentially, energetically, the same process with tea. You want all of the tools to be awake and ready before we start using them. So I'm going to go ahead and empty my hot water into my cups. And this next part is not necessary, but I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate it while we're here. I'm going to pour a little extra water in there to make sure they're nice and hot, because that water's already been through two vessels. It's cooled down a little bit. And I'm going to do this little spinny move that they do in chA, which gets all the surfaces. So what we're essentially doing is dipping the cups in each other in the water that is sitting in the cups and getting every one of these surfaces warm and wet. And this last guy, just give it a little swirl to put the water down those sides. And now we are ready to rock. Everything is warm, everything is hot. My Guan is still nice and hot. I'm going to go ahead and take my lovely green tea and pour it into the Guan. And there we have it. We are ready to serve tea. Thanks for joining us today. My name's Sohan. If you enjoyed this video, please follow us on YouTube and stay tuned for more great Gong Fu chA education.